I'm stressed out. Juice, how do I learn to run a game? Anyways, just kidding. So I've seen this question asked before by new people to our hobby. How do I run a game? Where can I learn to run a game? What are some techniques? I've heard all the questions. In this video, I'm going to touch on just a couple ways that you can learn how to GM. And I think that there's a lot of different ways you can learn how to do it. You can learn it by just trying it, and because there is no right or wrong way, first of all. There are ways that might be more fun for different people, but again, there is not one correct way to do it. There have been a lot of people who have experimented with this, and as someone in the hobby, you should never be afraid of trying a new method. So with that, one of the first tips I have on this is check out YouTube channels. There's so many different techniques that people have talked about. People like Andrew Knapp, who is known as SR2 Joker, he's talked about it in the past. Nerdarchy talks about different things you can do, things like that. But ultimately, because of the different ways you can do it, what I would suggest is actually watching live plays. It can be acquisitions incorporated. That doesn't mean you have to run the same style of game. It doesn't have to be as comedic, but look at what they do. Look how they set up a scene. Look at how the players change the scene. The things they add to it. You can do the same thing with Matt Mercer's Critical Role. Again, watch how the game master, for example, voice acts NPCs. And by watching these things, take notes. Think about, what is it you really liked about that scene? What do you think that game master did well? Write it down. Was it the descriptions he gave? Was it the tone in his voice, the inflections? Like, what was it about it? Was it the flavor of the NPCs? Was it the situations? Maybe it's the way that the encounters vary from encounter to encounter. How did they use the terrain or the surrounding environment, the setting in these scenes? So when you're watching these things, watch them from a critical perspective, not just purely entertainment perspective, and take notes. And from that, try to think about what you could do to do that. Now, you have to be able to expect the players to throw a wrench in it and change the way you're thinking on it. But that's where the improv comes in. There's always improv. And, you'll see it when you're watching these things. You can see where the players add things in there. So watch people's live plays. There's tons of videos now, thanks to the One Shot Group, thanks to YouTube and Twitch and all sorts of things. There are tons of live plays out there. On top of that, playing games. Go sit down at a table, play, see what the game master did. Heck, if you're playing with them, ask them afterwards. Like, hey, how did you come up with that? What made you think of that? How did you prep that? Can I see your prep notes? Like, if it's campaign, they might not be willing to share their prep notes. But if it's a one-shot, they might be willing to share their prep notes with you. And you can then look at their prep notes and compare it to the game and say, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I would highly recommend that. Another thing you can do is read blog posts. There's some good GM advice out there. Some of it better than others. But so I would even say you have to be careful with certain blog posts. But there's some good ones out there, like Gnome Stew's pretty good. Again, there's a few others. But I think that watching someone play is a better way, whether you're playing in it or running it. There are little tricks you can learn that are more system specific sometimes. So try to watch, if you're going to try and watch something, try to watch something that is going to be the system that you plan on running. You might learn some stuff about mechanics. You might learn about how to use different mechanics. when to roll and when not to roll. I mean, there's a lot to it. But at the same time, it's not that hard. So if you just, again, watch it from a critical perspective, you'll be good. Or just listen to it. There's podcasts out there like Happy Jacks where you can listen to some very good games. And again, highly recommended. So go out there, check out YouTube channels, check out blog posts, live plays, Twitch, podcasts, all that stuff. The best way to learn is to see somebody else do it. And some of these types of things too, like podcasts and videos, you also might get between live play sessions, you might get videos like this where someone's telling you like ideas and tips, and hopefully they help you. I have a ton of videos where I try to give tips. Some of them might be helpful. Some of them might not be. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and at least get an open dialogue. If you have questions, ask me, ask other YouTubers, ask Twitch channels, ask people in our RPG communities on Facebook and Google Plus and things like that. People in this hobby are amazing. Most of them, when someone's coming at them and shows a desire to improve, most of us are willing to do whatever it takes to help you because we want a strong hobby. So with that, put your questions below, comments, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a quicker one, but again, hope you liked it. Thanks. Bye.